you know it's time. IAfootball is back, and we've got you covered with everything from the biggest hits to the biggest runs, from in-game highlights to post-game breakdowns.
We are here talking any and all high school football.
From day one all the way to the dome, we've got you covered at IAfootball.
What up, everybody? You guys absolutely killed the like button on Locks and Dogs. So here I am from my apartment, not in the IA Sports studio, obviously. I'm here for another episode. You guys hit the goal of 25 likes, so here I am. Figured I'd go and talk about our games of the week on the graphics that we posted earlier. I'll go through each game, kind of talk about who I think has an edge. Not sure if I'll give picks. I'll kind of just run through and talk about what I think the keys for these games are. But yeah, if this video does well, if you guys enjoy this, be sure to smash the like button again, and we'll make this a part of a weekly thing. We can do 3 episodes a week. We can do Mondays rankings, Wednesdays Locks and Dogs, and Thursdays we can do this. Heck, I could even add something Tuesday if you guys want. So kill the like button. That just shows you guys enjoy this type of stuff. Let's get to some announcements before we get going. Oops, I don't have my camera in here. Give me 2 seconds. Why don't you? Boom, there I am. What's up, guys? All right. Talking games of the week today, whole lots of Rockfin stuff. I'm going to run through that quickly. If you're not on Rockfin, if you're not new to Rockfin, stick around. Don't skip ahead. I will run it through, show you what it looks like, show you some examples, just so you can kind of know what to expect. As always, advertisement spots still open. Drop us a like and subscribe. Make a YouTube account. Hit the little bell on our homepage. You can download the YouTube app on your phone, log in that way. Every time I post, boom, you're going to get a notification that we posted. This is a video that I'm not going to post a link to. You guys know that. I don't post the links directly right away. So the people with the bell, with the notifications on, those guys get to see it first. 100% totally free. You can do that pretty easily. Here's what's coming on Rockfin. Actually, what's on Rockfin. We're going to have more stuff coming. Dome predictions. That is a video. That's me talking. I've got my dome predictions. I've got our rankers dome predictions, and I've got Dana Becker's dome predictions. I run through all 7 classes, 3 different people's opinions on each class. We've got each person's Final 4, a champion, and a couple sleepers. So a lot of stuff talked about there. That was super fun. About a 20-minute video, not super long. I don't like to just drag you guys along for an hour. If you guys like that type of stuff, let me know. But I like to get in and out. I know you guys got stuff to do. The attention spans today aren't very long, so I like to try and keep it as short and sweet as possible. District predictions are coming. 8-man in Class A. Our guy Dana Becker has been killing those. He's got his favorites, some dark horses, and even talks about some other contenders in each district. Those are write-ups, about 10-15 minute reads, a lot of good stuff in there. So if you're a District 8, 8-man Class A, I mean, we're gonna have all districts coming. But those are the ones that are out right now. I'm not sure when he's going to have the next ones done. But yeah, let's give you guys a look as to what our Rockfin actually looks like. So this is what you see when you go over to Rockfin. You can follow for free. As you can see, we have 712 followers, and there is free content. Like, where are the ranked teams? This is free stuff we post every single week. You can see where the ranked teams are. You can see this Class 4A, Class 3A, all that good stuff. We've also got Dana's What You Need to Knows. These are 100% totally free. He'll run you through the class, what happened, what the big storylines are, some top storylines, and then some premium content. I'll show you guys what it looks like. First of all, you're going to get the rankings on Sunday night. You're going to get them before everybody else, the new rankings for each class. You can see the tabs right here are when you can go to the other classes. So that's always good stuff. Teams of the week. This is a new thing. This is from week 2. So these are stats from that week only. So as you can see, 8-man, Bo Burns was our week 2 quarterback of the week. He had 245 passing yards, 201 rushing yards, and 9 touchdowns. He was facing Twin Cedars. And we've got this for each class. Class A, Class 1A, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, like teams of the week is what we mean by that. So you guys are getting a chance to see that. Positional rankings. This is a big one. I'll give you guys a little bit of a teaser. Quarterback, same thing. 10 guys. As you can see, our 8-man quarterbacks right here, just to get a look at it. we've got 10 guys ranked in each class. We've got 10 running backs. We've got 10 wide receivers, 10 linebackers, 10 O-line, D-line, 10 DBs. A lot of work goes into that. So this is what Rockfin looks like. You can head over and follow for free. You can subscribe. And when you do subscribe, you're going to get access to wrestling, baseball, all that good stuff. Again, it's the number one way you can support us, and we're throwing a ton of stuff on there. There's going to be more and more stuff on there as the season goes on to make it worth your while, to make it worth get more bang for your buck. So I appreciate you guys all at least checking that out, at least listen to me yap about it. You don't have to go over subscribe. We've got free stuff on YouTube. That's why I'm here on YouTube right now, because you guys killed the like button. So let's get into some games of the week. This is not scripted. I really don't have anything. I'm just going to have Bound pulled up, and I'm going to be going game by game talking about each of these. So Ankeny Centennial, Southeast Polk. Obviously, Ankeny Centennial, your new number one team. Southeast Polk, coming off a rough loss against Prairie, looking to get back on track. I feel like people are kind of writing off Southeast Polk. I would not be doing that. I almost took them as my dog this week, but I decided not to. But yeah, Ankeny Centennial going to run the football with Braden Jackson and company. They're not going to air it out as much as Southeast Polk will with Holden Hansen. Sam Zelenovich, obviously the guy to know there. 400 plus receiving yards already. It's a pretty incredible start for him. Both defenses are stout. Centennial obviously with wins over Cedar Falls, Ames, and Ankeny. They got that common opponent in Ankeny, which they both beat Southeast Polk by 8 and Ankeny Centennial by 21. So that's 3-0 versus 1-2 there. Valley and Hawkeyes, your game of the week here pretty easily in Class 5A. Really good one going down at Valley Stadium. Both team or Hawkeyes 3-0, Valley 2-1 with the one loss to Dowling Catholic. Let's see the recent history here. Valley has won the last. Valley obviously won in the sub-state matchup last year at Hawkeyes, so Hawkeyes going to be looking to get vengeance. There are two really good quarterbacks here, Beckett Baker and Drake DeGroot. Both guys off to phenomenal starts. Jakari Clark and Grant Gatt. There's just so many stars on the field here. Maverick Inman, Zay Robinson, Jaden McGregory, Andrew Price. He's so much fun to watch on that team as well. It's just a really fun team. Carter Johnson's a stud for Hawkeyes on that defense. Hawkeyes' defense has been incredible to start the year. Wesley Anderson. If I had to make a pick, this is tough. I think at home, I think Valley's just really tough. I think Valley's coming off some big momentum. Hawkeyes can score a lot of points. So Hawkeyes scored 40 points in all of their games so far. I think Valley probably wins at home, but I'm not going to be surprised if Hawkeyes takes it. I mean, all these Class 5A games, I'm not going to be surprised if either of these teams ends up on top. Linmar and Bettendorf in a sneaky top 5 matchup. Two teams new to the top 5. Here they are, both of them 3-0. Really good starts for all these teams. Obviously, both of them kind of prefer to run the ball more, at least Linmar for sure with Dylan Mazinski. He's 100% the guy to know on Linmar. Only 372 combined passing yards for this team, 818 on the ground, and Mazinski's got 543 and 9 touchdowns. So they prefer to keep the ball on the ground and run that clock out. I almost decided to go to this game. I'm not going to lie to you. This was the second game. This is my runner-up for a game that I was going to go to. Bettendorf, they're going to air it out a little more. Jackson Laver, if I'm saying that incorrectly, please comment and let me know. Leading the way through the air, Jacob Whipple on the ground. Another game that's probably going to come down to the wire if I had to guess. Bettendorf won 21-14 last year, so it did go down to the wire last year. These two teams have only faced twice since in 2019, so not too much familiarity there. Dowling Catholic and Hawkeyes Northwest. Nick Fox will be at this game shooting video highlights. So we will have video highlights from this game. We're also going to have video highlights from Hawkeyes and Valley. We're going to have Aaron Martinez there shooting some stuff. So don't worry. We are going to have YouTube highlights from some big 5A games across the state here. Dowling Catholic and Hawkeyes Northwest. Should be another good one here. Hawkeyes Northwest coming off a nice win over Roosevelt, looking to get that staple top 10 win, and they've got an opportunity here with Dowling Catholic. Parker DePhillips has been good. Joey Nahas getting some reps at quarterback as well. Obviously, Dowling's running back room, Ian Middleton, Rashad Davis have both been really good, with Rashad Davis coming back recently. And Hawkeyes Northwest, Mac Heitland, sophomore quarterback. He had a really good week last week. He's got 718 through the year, 10 touchdowns, 3 picks. They're not going to run the ball too much. Ryan Woodruff is a guy to look out for. But there are deep threats and the receivers that Waukee Northwest have. I was really impressed with Jordan Green and Isaiah Oliver. Isaiah Oliver had a massive game in the game that I saw him. Really impressed with him and his go get it skills. A lot of fade routes, a lot of one-on-ones. They like their matchups on the edge. Waukee Northwest definitely going to take advantage of that. Cedar Falls and Liberty. I believe this is like kind of contrasting styles here. I've always wanted to catch Liberty. This is another game I was really considering going to. I just didn't make the cut this week. But obviously, Cedar Falls, Devarian Clark is who you think of, 478 yards on the ground. Owen Drapeau for Liberty, he also has 307 on the ground. A really good start for him. Dallas Miller's a guy to look out for. He's one of the better receivers in the class. But yeah, I mean, Liberty's going to air it out more. Cedar Falls is going to keep it on the ground. Reese Reddick is off to a really good start. Quarterback for Iowa City Liberty. It's a team that scores a lot of points, even in their loss to Pleasant Valley. It was a 42-28 game. They're putting up points, and Cedar Falls is a team that kind of can allow a lot of points. They've allowed 31 and 37 in their last 2 games. So this is going to be a good matchup, kind of a feel it out type of game. Whoever wins this is going to kind of take over control as one of the better teams out east in comparison to Linmar and Bettendorf. So both teams really wanting to get this win and get in on the win column. 2-1, 2-1 are your records here. Pleasant Valley and Prairie is your final game to watch here as I shuffle through and find this one. Obviously Prairie, kind of a week one where they got kind of ran over by Cedar Falls, and all of a sudden they bounced back and beat Southeast Polk. So they're right back in the mix of this. Pleasant Valley obviously lost to Bettendorf by 1 point in week 1 and have bounced back with 2 wins against Kennedy and Iowa City Liberty. So they're looking good too. Harrison Fierce leading the way passing and rushing for Pleasant Valley. For Prairie, a balanced attack too. Wyatt Ish and Talon Jackson leading in passing and rushing. These two teams have matched up pretty evenly over the last decade, 3-3 apiece. Pleasant Valley has won the last 2. I think Pleasant Valley is looking really good right now. If he's coming off against a win against Liberty, Prairie coming off a win against Southeast Polk, who can keep the most momentum? I think Pleasant Valley could be a sleeper pick here to pick up a win. I believe they were my dog this week, actually. So that makes a lot of sense. Let's move on to Class 4A, your games to watch here as I shift over on my bound. Lewis Central and Bondurant Farrar. Bondurant Farrar really just kind of scuffling. 0-3 to start. All 3 teams quality, I should say that. North Pole, Grinnell, and Waverly Shellrock. And 2 of those games were by 1 possession. But not what I predicted for Bondurant Farrar. So and now it gets even tougher with the number 1 team in the class in Lewis Central, who's 3-0 and has looked good. Obviously got tested down to the wire against ADM, which I think is good. It's always good to have those tests because their first 2 games were not really too close. But yeah, Bondurant Farrar leads the series 1-0. They won this matchup last year. Lewis Central going to be looking for vengeance on their home turf. Brady Hetzel, obviously one of the, if not the best quarterback you could argue in Class 4A. He's got his running back Brody Patlin back. Peyton Fippen is top target, and then Bondurant Farrar, Jordan Ryle, Riley Vanderlinden is leading him in rushing and receiving. So he's having a great year, great start to this year, as well as just a freshman, kind of a do-it-all guy for them. 3 total touchdowns for Riley through the first 3 games. People probably aren't going to give Bondurant a shot in this one, but they've been competitive in every single game. Do I think they can beat Lewis Central at home, who's on a 12-game winning streak? I don't, but this is going to be one that comes down to the wire, and we get a quarterback in Jordan Ryle. He's going to give you a shot no matter where you are and who you're playing. The game of the week in Class 4A, one that I'm sure people probably wanted me to go to, but I am not going to this one this week. North Scott and Western Dubuque, 3 versus 2. The storylines are here. A highly touted matchup. Western Dubuque has won the last 2. North Scott obviously with the higher ranking and a 3-0 start. They've got nice wins over Waverly Shellrock already. Obviously Western Dubuque coming off a win against Xavier. A lot of momentum riding high in this game. Western Dubuque returning quarterback Tanner Anderson has had a good start to the year. Drew Bird's leading them in rushing, and with North Scott, Chase Smith has been an excellent replacement to Kyler Girardi to start this year. 673 yards passing, 200 plus on the ground. Cash Bowie has 5 receiving touchdowns already. We've talked about Cash Bowie a lot. This guy's a stud. You got to look out for him. A threat on the outside for sure. If I had to give an edge this one, I think North Scott has got an edge. I think North Scott is one of the biggest threats to Lewis Central in Class 4A. So I like North Scott a lot this year, and I think they can take this 2 versus 3 matchup and really head into district play on a high note. Speaking of going into district play on a high note, Pella and Xavier. Pella coming off a massive win. Xavier looking to get back on track after the loss to North Scott. But Pella coming off winning against Indianola. This team's scary. I picked him as my dog last week. Obviously hit. If I could have picked him as my dog, I might have done it again because I really like this team. Colin Kern, Emmanuel Deers. This team's got some studs. Nate Warner's been a dude on defense for them. And looking at Xavier, they've been off to an incredible start as well. Obviously falling to Western Dubuque. They didn't have Cash Parks in that game. I'm not sure if he's back. I'm not sure what the situation is there. But they've got Carter Hoffman as well. He was a guy we expected to carry a lot of the load this year, and he is. Pella at Xavier, it's really tough to win at Xavier, but I really like Pella, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them coming out on top on the road here and going into district play 4-0. North Polk and Humboldt, another top 10 versus top 10 matchup. Obviously, Humboldt in a class below, as I try and find this on Bound quickly. But yeah, top 10 matchup. Humboldt coming off a win over Van Meter, snapped that long winning streak. We've talked about that a ton. North Polk, though, you gotta look out for these guys. They're 3-0. They're rising quickly in the rankings. Nathan Feldman, more of a threat with his legs than his arm. He's got 200 yards passing and 490 yards rushing. So they like to keep him run those power plays and whatnot. But North Polk's been really stout. Wins over Bonnarant, Farrar, Carlisle, and Webster City. Good resume builders to this point. And Humboldt 3-0 in their own right against Spencer, a 4A Ballard team, and then obviously one of the perennials in 2A in Van Meter. So you're stacking resumes here. Humboldt is going to match up with anybody's. Cohen Matson's been great. Keegan Groh is 100% a guy you need to look out for. He's an elite talent on the edges. And then Landon Halverson's been a stud on defense for them, 22.5 total tackles for him. North Polk won this game last year, 34-7. Humboldt had won the previous 2. I'm expecting it to be a lot closer than 34-7. And don't be surprised if Humboldt comes out on top and picks up its second win over a 4A ranked team. Ballard not ranked anymore, but they were at the time. ADM and Norwalk. ADM has been one of my favorite stories. A lot of people wrote this team off. I'm not going to lie, with the departures that they had to deal with. But this team is here. This team's good, 2-1 to start. They lost to Lewis Central, obviously down to the wire in overtime. They've got a win over Winterset and Newton. I don't think we're taking into account how good I think Newton is and how good Winterset is. I think Winterset's a very quality team. They went down there and took care of them. So now they get Norwalk, a team they're ranked higher than. Hudson Scholl has been the guy under center, leading them in passing and rushing. Corbin Reed's been a throw on the edge with 250 yards and a touchdown. Receiving, Braden Reinerson, 25.5 tackles for him. ADM's just all solid all around, and I'm not surprised to see them back. They won this match at 47-14 last year. And Norwalk coming off 2 straight losses to Indianola and Newton, so a common opponent there in Newton. Both of them played Newton very close. Obviously, ADM beat them. Norwalk lost to them. I'm expecting this game to be really close. It's a ranked versus ranked matchup. James Hatlevig has been solid passing the ball for them. Eli Robbins, obviously the guy to know here for Norwalk. He's been the yardage leader in just about everything. And then Luke Brewer, the big name at tight end. He's been a stud as well. So it should be a good game. 2-1 versus 1-2. Trying to get on track before district play. Our final one, Lamar's versus MOC Floyd Valley. As I pull this one up. There it is. MOC Floyd Valley ranked in Class 3A. Lamar's newly ranked in Class 4A, coming off back-to-back wins over Sioux City North and Boyden Hole Rock Valley. MOC Floyd Valley coming off a win against Okoboji. MOC Floyd Valley got one of the best quarterbacks in Class 3A, and Blake Albers. He's got over 650 yards passing thus far. Lamar's kind of a balanced team. Jamie Sitzman gonna do it through the air for them, and Jude Doherty leading the way rushing. Really solid team, and Lamar is a team that doesn't allow a lot of points. They've only allowed double-digit points once this year. So I'm expecting a little bit more of a low-scoring game, but MOC Floyd Valley's threat to throw could be a difference maker in this one. They've also got a really good playmaker on the edge, and Amon Langton. Always have a fun checking out his highlights. And I think MOC Floyd Valley could pull off a mini upset here in a 3A versus 4A matchup. I kind of like the Dutchman in that Class 3A class. It's kind of a deeper sleeper amongst those ranked teams. We'll move on to Class 3A. Again, just kind of yapping here, no sort of script, just kind of going game by game and giving you my thoughts. Solon versus Mount Vernon. Not going to really make a pick on this one because it's the game I'm going to. I'll tell you what I'm excited to look out for, though, and it's really balance versus balance. I love going to matchups where the teams can beat you in multiple ways, and both these teams can do that. Both these teams 3-0. Mount Vernon coming off a really close win against Benton, 15-13, and Solon has just been dominant. They've scored 40-plus points in 2 of their 3 games. They've won by double, triple, or 2 to 3 possessions every single time, coming off a thriving over Central DeWitt. With Solon, it's Ty Bell at quarterback, the veteran guy. Eddie Johnson's a returning running back who's stepped up in his playmaking skills, and he's been great. Maddox Kelly has been a threat receiving, and he's been really good on defense for them as well. And with Mount Vernon, it's a lot of new faces. Kellen Haverback has been really good to start the year for them. He's thrown for 484 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Cooper Hurds, kind of the back. They got a deep backfield, though. And then Jace Jaspers is kind of the athletic talent on the edges. He's got 286 yards receiving thus far. Both teams just super physical. A lot of history here. 15-2 is Solon's lead in this series since 2008, but Mount Vernon has won 2 of the last 3. So you see 15-2, you think it's not balanced, but it really is. It's been a competitive series for most of the past 4 years. This game's been coming down to the wire and really, really competitive. I'm expecting the same tomorrow night. Super excited to get down to Solon to catch that one. I've been to Solon. I went to Solon last year. Always a good time when I head down there. Clear Lake and Waverly Shell Rock. Now, I'm not calling Clear Lake on upset alert, but I will say Waverly Shell Rock is so much more of a threat than people account for them. They've got one of the toughest schedules you can possibly have, opening with Xavier, North Scott, Bonneret Farrar, and now Clear Lake. They lost to Xavier and North Scott, both those games close until the end. Xavier is only a 14-7 loss, and Bonneret Farrar they went on the road and beat. And it's a good Bonneret Farrar team. Clear Lake has really cruised to thus far. This is going to be their first test, and I'm expecting this to be a test. I think Waverly Shell Rock is going to stick in this game until the very end. Wesley Hubbard, Ethan Bibler are playmakers for them. They're going to hold on to the football. They're going to run the football. They're going to keep the clock moving and try and keep that Clear Lake potent offense off the field. And speaking of Clear Lake's potent offense, it's a sophomore run of the show, which is even more impressive. Jackson McIntyre, really good start to the year, 500-plus yards passing, 10 passing touchdowns. Titan Schmidt, one of the better running backs in Class 3A. You can't talk about Clear Lake without talking about him. 400-plus on the ground for him. And then Thomas Meyer is the big threat on the edge, the tight end. He's off to a good start. He's got 182 yards receiving and 4 receiving touchdowns already. You know, people game plan around him, and he's still finding ways to get the ball and get in the end zone. It's a sleeper game. I think this is an underrated game in Class 3A that could go down to the wire and be really fun to check out. So I'm going to have my eyes on that one. Independence and Decorah, another cross-class matchup here. 2 3-0 teams. Decorah been playing really good football lately. Win over Crestwood, win over West Delaware, and a win over Walk-On. Both these teams have played Walk-On. Both these teams have played Crestwood, and they're both been similar in their margins, so you can expect this to be a game that goes down to the wire as well. EJ Miller, he's going to be up there for the Mr. IAfootball finalists in Class 3A. He's been incredible to start the year, 700-plus yards passing. He's a threat with his arm. He's a threat with his legs, and he's got an incredible target in Brady Kirk, the sophomore, 400-plus yards receiving for him. And Tate Wood led just about everybody in tackles last year, and he's back and doing the same thing, 31 tackles for him through 3 games. For Decorah, balanced attack, Lewis Buxta, the senior quarterback, 400-plus yards passing for him. Trevor Coonan rushing the ball a balanced attack. Decor, I'm not going to lie, it's a team I don't know a ton about, so I'm excited to see them in a ranked versus ranked matchup here. And another 5 versus 10. It's a sneaky game in the state of Iowa. We've got a lot of them this week. Independence won this game last year 21-7. I'm expecting definitely more of a low-scoring game in this one just because of how these teams play and how they control the football and how physical they are. Atlantic and Winterset. Winterset was my dog pick this week. Let's see if I can find this. Atlantic off to a really good start. I believe the only 3A team to 4-0 because of their week 0 game. Obviously, they've been really good. Tyson O'Brien, 780 yards rushing thus far. That's up there in the class. Jake Wallace has been really good on defense for them. But Winterset, I really like. 2-1 start. They beat Crescent, they beat Carlisle, and they lost to ADM. And I think we are finding out that ADM is an elite talent in Class 4A. Winterset also has won the last 5 in this matchup dating back the last decade. So Atlantic has not beaten Winterset in a while. Obviously, the rankings say that they should. I went with Winterset as my dog because I like Hunter Lyon. I like Hank Wilmus. I like this Winterset defense to hold stout. Obviously, a unranked Class 4A team against a ranked Class 3A team here. Another cross-class matchup. Going to be really fun. Going to go down the wire. Atlantic, they can put up points, so I'm not going to be surprised if this is a little bit more on the higher scoring edge here. Harlan and Sergeant Bluff Luton, ranked versus ranked matchup. Sergeant Bluff Luton just now hopping into the rankings as I find this one on Bound. Just looking at so many logos. There they are. Harlan and Sergeant Bluff Luton, 11 versus 16. Obviously, in this one, Harlan coming off a win over Glenwood after their opening week loss at Lewis Central. Sergeant Bluff Luton 3-0 to start the year with wins over Lamar, Sioux City East, and Sioux City West. So 3 quality wins there. Obviously, with Harlan, it's going to be a lot of Gabe Arkfield, going to be a lot of Lucas Francis, Joseph Rees, the guys to know there, passing, rushing, and receiving. They've got 3 kind of playmakers there. And for SBL, it's Isaiah Jervik, Xavion Ellington. Obviously, he's off to a good start rushing the football with 200-plus yards. Really balanced attack for SBL, really balanced attack for Harlan. I like Harlan in this one. They've kind of controlled the series as of lately, winning 3 straight dating back to 2021. And none of them have really been close. I think this is going to be close, but I like Harlan. I think Harlan is a threat, and they've got a few good wins over Denison and Glenwood. I like the Cyclones in this one. We'll move on to our final Class 3A matchup, Grinnell and Washington. Let's see here. Grinnell has won the last 5 dating back to 2010. Grinnell off to a really good start. They've got that marquee win over Bonner Rant. Washington off to its own good start, though. Wins over Oskey, Burlington, and Fairfield, all of them by 1 possession. Washington not ranked yet, probably on the outside looking in with a big win here. They probably do enter the rankings and take Grinnell's spots. This is a big game in Class 3A. Brady Kaufman, the guy to know for Grinnell, leading them in passing and rushing. And for Washington, it's Logan McDowell, it's Cale Williams, it's Mason Morgan, it's Jude Carter, the guys to know for the Demons. I'm expecting probably a lower scoring game here. 2 teams that are very physical. Obviously, Grinnell has put up a lot of points on Washington in the past, but I think this Washington team is a little different. I think they've got some more experience than people think, and they're off to a good start, and they've got a lot of momentum. They're looking to ride that into this game against Grinnell. We'll move on to Class 2A. I'll start to move a little quicker here because I'm already at 30 minutes. I apologize about that. West Lyon and Unity Christian. I got a chance to see West Lyon with my own 2 eyes. Really, really good football team. I was super impressed. They really handled an elite team in Class 1A and OABCIG. I like what I see there. PCM and Jessup, Van Gorp and Robbins at PCM is going to be a fun team to follow down the stretch. They've got a solid 2A team in Jessup, and PCM just been on an absolute tear. They've been putting up a ton of points. They're coming off a win against a 3A ranked team in Nevada. It's a really good resume builder. Clarenda and Van Meter. We'll hop into this one since it's a ranked versus ranked matchup in Class 2A. Van Meter coming off a loss. Clarenda also coming off a loss. 2 teams looking to bounce back. Garrett Cole, leading rusher for Van Meter. Jay Haley is the quarterback. He's got 500-plus yards passing. They're going to air it out. Clarenda looking to keep it more on the ground. Noah Harris is the guy to know here, 286 yards rushing. Van Meter has controlled this series as of late. They've won the last 3. Last year it wasn't really close, but again, Clarenda coming in with that ranking. I'm expecting this to be a little closer, and both teams coming off a loss. Both teams looking to get back on track here. My dog pick for this week was Roland Story and Kemper. We talked about this on Locks and Dogs. Not going to go into much depth, but I like this quarterback matchup. Sam Knoll and Brock Bading. Bading's gonna air it out. He's got 600 plus yards passing. Knoll likes to use his legs a little bit more. He's also a threat through the air. They got a sophomore running back in Ben Mazik too for Roland Story. They're coming off a win against South Hamilton. They lost to Nevada this year, but that's a 3A team. And obviously Kemper Catholic lost their week 1 game to a ranked 3A team in Heelan and have bounced back with 2 ranked wins over Underwood and AHSTW. That's going to be a fun one down at Carroll. Cherokee and Western Christian, got to get into this one. 6 versus 7 here. It's been a... Let's see. Western Christian won this one last year, 28-21. Cherokee enters with a higher ranking here, 3-0 versus 2-1. And for Cherokee, it's Jackson Paulshrud. He does a lot with his arm, with his legs. He's got 379 yards rushing. Blake Lavelle also adds 500 yards rushing. So a little bit more of a rushing attack here for Cherokee Washington. And with Western Christian, it's a more balanced attack. Landon DeStigder, 400 plus yards passing for him. Ty Groneweg leading the way rushing, and Carson Moret leading the way receiving for Western Christian. I'm expecting another close matchup again. This is 6 versus 7. These guys are battling for district position in a really tough district. So it's going to be important for both these teams to get in on this one. Davis County and Central Lee, too, as another ranked versus ranked matchup in the state of Iowa. As I find this one, newly ranked, I believe, is Central Lee. 3-0 versus 3-0 here. A fun little matchup. Caden Caffey, the guy to look out for, leading them. It's a team that runs the ball a ton. He's leading the way with 300 plus yards rushing. He's only got 41 yards passing. So this one's going to be moving quickly. In Davis County, the same way. Cason Young, 500 plus yards rushing. Clock's going to be moving in this one. Expect really low scoring. It was 20-14 last year in favor of Davis County. Central Lee won the year before. So a little back and forth matchup here. This has been a good game in the past. Again, both 3-0. Davis County coming off a win against Cardinal, and Central Lee coming off a win against Durant. This should be a fun one. Keep your eyes on this one. These are 2 teams kind of on the outside looking in Class 2A, looking to make a little statement, as we get going into the middle of the year. Moving on to Class 1A. Let's see what we got here. Again, if you like this type of stuff, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know if you enjoy this. I will be sure to do it every week. If you guys like this type of stuff. Sumner Fredericksburg and Dyke New Hartford. Expect a good one here. If you're talking about this game, you're expecting a good one. But Dyke New Hartford has dominated this series. They've won the last 7. Last year was 24-14. Obviously, Sumner Fredericksburg 2-1, coming off a forfeit win over Olween. So they have not played in a while. Tatum Nuss, the guy to know, leading the way in passing and rushing. Dyke New Hartford, I really like this team. Colin Meester's been a threat through the air. Noah Borcherding been a threat through the ground. I think Dyke New Hartford is among the elite in Class 1A. I'm expecting Dyke New Hartford to win this again and make it 8 in a row, but Sumner Fredericksburg 100% is no slouch. MFO Marmac, Applington, Parkersburg should be a good one. OABCIG and MVAO COU. My dog pick was MVAO COU. I saw OABCIG last week. I think this team's going to bounce back. I think they're 100% going to be fine. They faced a really good West Lion team. Just really not a ton of upset options in Class 1A when I was looking at it. So I went with the Rams, who are 3-0 and newly ranked, coming off winning against Manson Northwest Webster. They're going to have the momentum going their way. Luther Cameron's a stud on the ground, 500 plus yards rushing for him. And OABCIG, they 100% prefer to air it out with Bryson Kolar, JJ Parks, Jax Jean. They've got a ton of threats on the edge, and it's Kolar's job to get it to him, and he does a really good job of that. He's got 700 plus yards passing thus far this year and 6 passing touchdowns. That's going to be a good one to open district play for both those teams. I expect that one to go down to the wire. And our final one we'll talk about here, AHSTW and Underwood. 2 teams that have both lost to Kemper Catholic. You got that common opponent there. AHSTW lost them by 8. Underwood lost them by 21. So if you're giving edges there a little bit, AHSCW, obviously lost to the common opponent by less. Came in and suck up the Gatineau passing, Luke Sternberg rushing. It's a really balanced attack for AHSCW. And same with Underwood. They'll do both too. Garrett Louette obviously throwing the ball, 500 plus yards passing for him and 8 passing touchdowns. Will Buckle leading the way in rushing. And Easton Robinson is Louette's top target. He's got 200 plus yards receiving and 5 of Louette's 8 receiving touchdowns. Last year, this was Underwood 42-0. I'm 100% not expecting this to be a blowout in Underwood's favor. And in fact, if I had to give an edge, I do like AHSTW in this one. I think this team's a little bit more balanced. They've given up a decent amount of points, and they're just coming off a loss to Kimber Catholics. Underwood's coming off a win, which is always tough. But I don't know. I like HSCW. I think they've played well, and I like their balanced attack with Suckup and Sternberg in this one. So Beckman Catholic, Wilton, another one. Beckman Catholic was just ranked last week, coming off a loss to Albernet, who you can see has South Hardin. Wilton's a team that a lot of people have really liked. Our ranker's been slowly bumping them up the rankings. And then Albernet and South Hardin, two teams that are just on the edge. Albernet is 100% on the edge of being ranked. They could definitely be with a win over South Hardin. So two big ones there. We'll move on to Class A. South Central Calhoun ACGC. Our Class A ranker has repeatedly said ACGC he believes is the bona fide number one right now. Woodbury Central on their tail, though. Woodbury Central just jumped up a few spots in last week's rankings and jumped into that number 2 spot just because of how they've just been dismantling their opponents. They just did the same thing to Logan Magnolia last week, who was ranked. They now get another ranked matchup in Galen Catholic. Woodbury Central has just been a power in Class A over the last few years. Jackson Verscore, the sophomore, already has 500 plus yards passing. They've got one of the best backs in the class in Zach Butler, who's got 300 plus yards to start. The defense has been really good for Woodbury Central. They've only allowed double-digit points once, and that was 14 points to Logan Magnolia. They've been putting up a ton of points. But Galen Catholic, we'll give them some airtime here. Lost to Hinton in week 1. Hinton's a really good Class 1A team. But in Class A, they've dominated MMCRU. They dominated Alta Aurelia, and here they go. They get their test against the number 2 team in the class. Cole McCarty leading the way passing. Cale Pearson, a huge threat rushing the ball. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns this far and 300-plus yards on the ground. Fun matchup here. Woodbury Central has dominated the last few. Last year was 43-14. I'm expecting it to be a little bit closer, but I still think we've got an edge here with Woodbury Central. This is an elite team in Class A. Madrid and Linville Sully. We talked about this on Locks and Dogs last year. This is like a 2 versus 3, 1 versus 2 matchup. Now a little bit different. Still both teams ranked just at 4 and 12 respectively. Linville Sully coming off a loss to Pleasantville. I saw some comments, why is Linville Sully still ranked after a loss? It's because Pleasantville's a good 1A team. It's a class ahead. It's really hard to judge that. Madrid in itself also has a loss to a 1A team. So our rankers try and rank in the class that they're in. So when they play those cross class, it's tough. But Linville Sully still in the rankings. Landon Montgomery, this team's going to air it out. 600 plus yards passing for him. And for Madrid, it's kind of a tale of the opposite. Preston Wicker, that quarterback, he can air it out. He can beat you through the air, but he's 100% going to want to run the football. 400 plus yards for him, and he missed game 1. So he's been averaging 200 plus a game since his return. They've got some guys around him. Easton Halverson is the guy to look out for Madrid. Should be a fun one. If I had to expect, probably a little more low scoring. Last year it was 27-9. You can kind of expect something like that. I'm expecting to be a little closer, but I think Madrid, since Wicker has come back, has looked really good, and I'd expect them to kind of do the same and pick up another win here. Columbus and Pekin, a fun one we'll talk about. Columbus coming off a loss to Lisbon. Obviously, a stunner, or not a stunner, but a tough one to get over because of how lofty that was. It's always tough to bounce back when you get beat like that. Pekin 3-0 and riding high. They're coming off a really good win over Danville. A lot of momentum for Pekin here. Will Adam, the guy to know, leading the way in passing, rushing. He's been on our teams of the week multiple times already. And with Columbus, it's Riley Kahlberg, 400 plus yards rushing for him. He's 100% the guy you need to stop if you want to beat Columbus. Trevor Phillips been a little bit of a threat through the air, 200 plus yards passing for him, but But yeah, Columbus really wants to keep it on the ground. They want that clock rolling. I like Pekin in this one. I like their balance. I think Pekin's a team on the rise in Class A. Will Adams, a bona fide star. He's got a guy in Robert Brown, too, who's had some big games. Henry Adam on defense. He's got 2 picks and 16 tackles as a sophomore. Pekin's a really solid team, and if they can get a win here over a ranked Columbus team, that would bode well down the stretch. We'll head into Class 8-man. Newman Catholic and South Wind, another really good game. Newman Catholic was my dog pick. I'm expecting that to be a really good one. South Wind coming off a loss to Wapsie Valley. Newman Catholic riding high, 2 straight wins over West Fork and Lake Mills. Thomas McGuire has been really good through the air. Isaiah Kesson been really good through the ground. And yeah, I think Newman Catholic is a team that could enter the rankings pretty quickly with a win over South Wind. South Wind won this game 27-20 last year, expecting another really close game in this one. We'll move on to Class 8-man, where we really have the one big matchup, Don Bosco and Key High. Let's see. Let's get this pulled up and ready to go. Let's see. Don Bosco and Key. This is a big one for the district. Pretty much, I mean, you're not playing for district title, but this is going to bode huge for the district title down the stretch. Key and Don Bosco, both 3-0, both just pretty much dominating opponents. Don Bosco has the big one over Gladberg Rhinebeck, which makes them look really good and why they're so high in the rankings right now. Key, although they've beaten up on teams, they don't have that marquee win yet, and this would be that if they can do it. Dalton Mutterman, Kyler Knack, a great quarterback matchup. Kyler Knack wants to run, wants to throw. Mutterman wants to throw. A really yin and yang matchup here. Kyler Knack been a dude on defense too, 19.5 tackles for him. Dalton Mutterman has been a dude on defense for his own team, 24 tackles, 3 picks, 11 TFLs. He's been a stud. He's up there for one of the best players, an IAfootball finalist potentially in Class 8-man. This is a star versus star situation in Don Bosco and Key with guys around him. Don Bosco has their guy in Ty Christensen, too, the junior, helping lead the way in rushing as well. Just a lot of stars in this team and a matchup that you could see down the stretch 100% as we get going. Remsen St. Mary's, Boyer Valley are going to be a good one. Audubon St. Ed's, it could be an intriguing one. St. Ed's coming off a big win with Grant Gallus putting himself in the record books. Cam and Coon Rapids, always a big, tension-filled game down there. BGM and Belle Plaine. Saw people really liking Belle Plaine. Our 8-man ranker really likes BGM with Bo Burns. So a ton of fun action in Class 8-man. But that's all I got. 40 minutes. That's enough of me talking. I don't know about you guys, but if you like this type of stuff, drop a comment and say, hey, Kate, I like it. Do this again next week. I'll be sure to do it and get ready and prepared a little more so I don't take too long talking. If you like the longer episodes, drop a comment. Let me know. I just like getting you guys in and out because I know you guys got a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, I appreciate you for hopping in with me. Again, this is our Games of the Week breakdown, and we did this because you guys smashed the like button. So do it again, and we'll see you next week. I'll probably see you Monday for rankings, actually, so I'll catch you then.